The South African Parliament has appointed NOSIVIWE Mapisa-Nquakula as the new speaker amid some controversies. The economic freedom fighters boycotted the vote, while other opposition parties raised concern about the appointment. But the vote went through due to the ruling ANC's numbers in Parliament. The former defense minister received 199 votes, while the opposition candidate received only 82. Joining us now to unpack this is South African journalist and editor, Diane Hawker. Hello, Diane.
Thank you, Felicity, and good evening to the viewers as well.
Okay, could you bring us up to speed with what happened with the entire process? We understand that the ANC has more numbers, but somehow they didn't seem to have had an easy win.
Yes, absolutely. The ANC faced some initial opposition to actually placing NOSIVIWE Mapisa-Nqakula on the ballot as their candidate. The EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, who are the third largest party in Parliament, they actually said that they would not participate in this election, and as a result, they didn't actually vote. The Democratic Alliance, which is the second biggest party, they called for the ANC to remove her from the list, and when she wasn't removed, they tried to get their own candidate. But of course, the challenge that they faced is that they simply didn't have the numbers to override the ANC's choice. The ANC has a vast majority, over 60% of seats in the National Assembly. And so even if all the opposition parties voted for the same opposition candidate, they actually wouldn't have succeeded. So she was voted in with 199 votes of the overall 298. There were 17 spoiled ballots. Just over 80 went to the DA's alternative candidate. And then, of course, there were those who didn't vote because they were objecting to her name being placed on the ballot. So it will be that from today, NOSIVIWE Mapisa-Nqakula, who's our former defense minister, is actually our Speaker of Parliament.
Okay, what do we know about this speaker?
Well, the role of speaker is actually quite a significant one here in South Africa. We have three arms of government: the judiciary, the executive, and Parliament, which is the legislature. The Speaker of Parliament holds the highest position in the legislature, and they are in charge of essentially making sure that Parliament runs smoothly.
Okay, Diane, I think you kind of misunderstood my question. I was trying to ask you about the incoming Speaker. I guess I didn't put that. What do we know about her?
Speaker was previously the Minister of Defense, and she's been in government for quite some time. But the reason that she has actually sparked quite a lot of controversy is that she is facing some very serious allegations of corruption. In fact, Parliament, which she is now the head of, is investigating allegations of corruption, an allegation that she received bribes worth 5 million rand, also an allegation that she was using state-owned aircrafts irregularly, and that she also put in fees for hotels that she stayed in, upmarket hotels that the state would have to pay for, which she shouldn't have actually submitted those claims for. So Parliament is still concluding that investigation from her term as the Minister of Defense, and the expectation is that there will be some kind of report on that by the end of August.
What if that report in some way implicates her? What will be the implication for the office that she's now supposed to hold?
Well, if the allegations were severe enough, there is a possibility that there could be a call for her to step down. But the tricky part of it is that with her moving out of the role that she was originally in, she was originally on the executive side, and now she's on the parliamentary side. There is a question about whether Parliament will still be empowered to have oversight, because Parliament oversees the executive, but Parliament doesn't oversee itself. So, you know, there's still a bit of a question as to how much accountability she will have. I'm sure the opposition will push back once those findings come out and will call for her to step down. But unfortunately, the provisions are not exactly the same for parliamentarians as they are for members of the executive.
Okay, since we have you here, let's talk about another case you've been tracking for us, and that's the trial of the former president, Jacob Zuma. We understand he's still behind bars, but his lawyers are not giving up. What's the latest?
Yes, absolutely. We've seen a lot of new court papers being filed, and this is in the case that's before the Constitutional Court, where the former president was found guilty of contempt of court for not agreeing to testify before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. The papers, the court had actually asked all the different legal parties to actually explain what they think the role of the United Nations Convention on Civil Rights would actually be, and actually explain whether the court needs to consider certain articles, Article 9 and Article 14. The lawyers for the former President Jacob Zuma say that the court should have considered that, and if they considered that convention, that he wouldn't have been imprisoned. But the lawyers for the commission submitted papers today in which they refute that. They say that it's a different type of proceeding, that convention is dealing with criminal procedures, so someone's accused of a crime, and that contempt of court is in the civil area, and in that case, it shouldn't be dealt with in terms of that convention. So we've yet to hear from the Constitutional Court what they are going to make of these new submissions that they asked for. The former president is still in a hospital because he had an operation on Sunday, and we've also yet to hear as to when he'll be released from hospital to return to prison, where he still has to serve that 15-month sentence.
Thank you very much, Diane Hawker, for always keeping us informed on what is the latest in South Africa.
Thank you.